Hi guys, it's Alex here. I'm joined by Stephen. We're outside the Etihad Stadium on a lovely, lovely sunny day in Manchester. Now, lots of people have been talking all about Pep Guardiola and transfers. What makes the ideal Pep player? Now, we were talking this morning and we couldn't quite decide, but one thing we could decide on is that the ideal Pep player isn't one name, it's a combination of lots of different things. So we're going to try and imagine the dream Pep Guardiola player. A Frankenstein's monster, if you like, of all the players that have played under Pep and the best of their various attributes. So who on this imagined player is going to have the brain? Who's the brains of this dream player?
There's many players. You could say Iniesta, you could say Lahm, you could say even Mascherano or Busquets, but I can't see past Xavi. Like, now, he was the thinker of his team. He was a Barcelona great, a tactician, a hugely intelligent player. He was the man for years that made Barcelona tick, and it's fair to say maybe everything that Pep does, he'll model his midfielders on a player of that ability, because he was just a genius, wasn't he?
It was one of those players as well that maybe he's not. If you watch Barcelona play once, you wouldn't necessarily pick out Xavi and say he's the star man. But when you've watched Barcelona play 3 times or 5 times or 10 times, you see that he was the sort of the beating heart, the clock that was running the operation. It was kind of, and not in a captaincy way screaming, we'll get onto that later, but someone who just keeps everything tick-tocking and is the man that assists the assist.
Yeah, he's the thinker, and there's no questions about that for me.
All right, let's move on then. So let's talk about vision. Let's talk about there's the player who's got the eye for the pass and the right ball and that killer ball.
Once again, there's so many choices. In any Guardiola team, there's like Thiago, there's Messi, there's so many more. But it's got to be Iniesta. Iniesta is an absolute genius. It's weird to say he's underrated, but people probably won't give him the credit he deserves looking back. People like Messi will get all the headlines, but Iniesta is a phenomenal footballer. He sees things that others won't see in a lifetime with video replays. He sees things on a pitch that I can't even begin to imagine. He's that good, and he's got to be his eyes. He's got to be, Xavi's head. Iniesta's eyes.
I think you nailed it on the head though, that quality vision is essential for every single Pep player, because we can talk about Messi's and Iniesta's and so on, but like even players like Boateng, someone who can really pick a pass and come forward and knows the right time. Even Neuer at Bayern Munich knows to bring the ball forward and spray out passes and stuff. It is the essential attribute, but let's agree that Andres Iniesta is surely it is literally a visionary.
Hey, watch it be silver in 2 years from now.
Oh, watch it be silver in 2 years from now. That's one for the comments. Can Silver live up to that level under Pep Guardiola? All right, let's move on. The voice. Who's going to be that? Who's your captain almost? Who's your vocal leader?
The leader in the dressing room. Who's going to be the one who drives the team on? The one that really he speaks for the manager. And for me, I'm looking at Philipp Lahm. I can think about him. He was obviously the captain for Germany when they won the World Cup. What a way to retire that was from international football. He was his captain at Bayern. He's just he was nearly the brain player, but he's a leader down to the definition of it. He is the one that when he speaks, all the players listen to. He's the voice on the pitch for all these great managers. Joachim Low, obviously Pep as well. Hanks before that. He's just a phenomenal player, and he has to be the voice as far as I can say.
I mean, there's a few names there, like you said. Someone like Puyol as well. It's almost like a born leader of men. You imagine it. I sort of look at Puyol, and maybe I romanticise him a bit, but I imagine him as like Roman general type character.
No one's ever romanticised Puyol before.
I look at him and just you can just see him in armour and stuff, leading troops into battle. But I think Philipp Lahm, was the captain at the German national team. What a German national team as well, and is someone who you just think barks orders out and everyone pays attention to.
In a graceful, respectful way, as his teams do. And but onto the actual heart of thing then. It's got to be Puyol, surely. Yeah,
I mean Puyol, again, like I said, it's hard to fit between the two because they are both great leaders. But in terms of the passion as well, and some people like Puyol, some people don't. But there's all these things about him really subscribing in fair play as well, and not only wanting to win every single game, whether it's in training or it's a Champions League final, but wanting to win it in the right way as well. And I think that is part of Pep's philosophy, isn't it? It's not just winning, it's winning in the right way.
It's about team spirit. He said during his interview the most important for him is team spirit and that real kind of desire to want it, and no one really sums out more than Puyol. This was a man who would throw his family in front of the ball if he needed to prevent a goal. I don't know if that's possible or legal, but you probably would do it anyway. But he was an incredible player. He defined kind of passion and commitment, as well as obviously being a good footballer. But he quite literally was the heartbeat of that team. If he was in the Barcelona squad, they were more likely to win it because of his mere presence on the pitch. And Pep does value that. He values technical ability, but there's more to football than that, isn't it?
Well, just on Sunday, Pep said that he wants to bring young players through that not only got the ability but also have the passion.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want the necessarily the Balotellis of this world that have all the skill in their feet but don't necessarily have that want to play for the game. more about themselves. He wants that passion for the team from his young players.
Yeah, of course, yeah, and that's what football's about, and he's aware of that. Well, it's the whole. What's that quote? If talent doesn't, I've forgotten the quote about hard work will overcome talent if talent doesn't perform, and Puyol kind of sums it up for me as well. Other than that, what else? Let's talk
about like lungs then. Let's talk about stamina. Who's got that work rate? That sort of. This is the sentence I've got an end on it, apparently. That kind of that desire to keep working, and who is capable of keeping working for 90 minutes or 120 or whatever it requires.
Yeah, well, all these players do that once again because it's a kind of it's a key part of what you want football to do. But I was thinking, like, if you think of Alaba last year, and I know Alaba's not just a runner, but last season he was playing at times left back, then second day he was an inverted striker kind of thing going on. It was weird. It was some strange tactical decision of Pep to get him to break the lines of the defender, and so to do that, to have the stamina to track back and forth from your fullback position to then being alongside Lewandowski up front, that's surreal. That takes incredible amounts of energy.
It's something we've seen for his national team as well, Alaba.
Yeah.
I know it's not Pep doesn't run the national team, but someone who just working. He seems to play at every position on the pitch. He looks like he's playing goal if necessary. He just seems to be 1 minute he's on the edge of the box, next minute he's playing at centre back and supporting someone else, and just doing everything that's asked of him, but getting up and down and up and down.
It could have been in Alba as well, because obviously he's backing down, up and down that touchline constantly. Danny Alves was, but for me, for the variety of roles he plays, the physique that he has to be able to do that is phenomenal. To be able to get back and forth, up and down the pitch like that. So he's a lung. So we've got like a Puyol heart thing going on and an Alaba set of lungs. It's a horrifying vision in my head. but
a heck of a player. So let's move on to the left boot. Now, I can't see past the little man Lionel Messi for this one.
The best left boot in football ever, maybe. I think he does things I don't know how he does it, to be honest. He's just a genius, an absolute world-class genius. 10 times better than more or less anyone who plays football. Like, he's just phenomenal. He's passing, scoring goals. We need to explain Messi. We don't have to talk about Messi.
No, the most organically gifted player around.
Yeah, you can't teach that level of brilliance. It's just innate talent. And his left foot, I just pointed at left foot because that's what it is. I don't know why I did that, but his left foot is what's going on our monster. No. I reckon.
Now, let's talk about right boot. Now, we talked about this a little bit off camera. Now, I'm a big fan of Xabi Alonso. I think he's one of the best players to have played in the Premier League. I think when he was at Liverpool, we didn't quite appreciate just how, as fans, I know Liverpool fans were always raving about him, but people didn't quite appreciate just what he was capable of. At Real Madrid and at Bayern Munich, he's really showcased that.
Yeah.
And I think that as a ball player, he is one of the best ball players of the game. And what he can do with his right foot in terms of the range of passes, those neat 15-yard passes that cut a defence in two, right through to 60, 70-yard balls that just change a game. He doesn't quite have the vision, perhaps, that Iniesta or Xavi has. But in terms of the ability to play that pass to where he wants it to.
Yeah, pure technique is phenomenal. He can just ping a pass from any direction, 60 yards, 70 yards, and his retention, obviously, his ball retention is phenomenal. His right foot is just impeccable. We've seen the long-range goals when he was in the Premier League as well, when he was scoring 50-yarders. What a player. There's actually a young lad as well in the academy, Alex Garcia, I can see doing a very similar thing. So maybe he'll look to impress and have this similar kind of right foot that Alonso did. But yeah, there's obviously loads of people. Boateng playing 70-yard quarterback passes this season. I don't like to use the term quarterback because it's such an Americanism, but it is kind of true, really, isn't it? A direct long ball, and then obviously Ribéry cutting in from the wings, Pedro's, Suarez is right. No, he wasn't there. Sorry, not Suarez. I'm getting ahead of myself there. Loads of players, but Alonso, I think, will do it. What else? Legs.
Sorry, quickly on the quarterback term. I think it's fascinating that when a Pep Guardiola side plays a 70-yard pass, it's a quarterback. When a Sam Allardyce side does it, it's a disgusting long ball play.
Well, it tends if it's going to the feet or the head, doesn't it? So I mean, that more or less defines it.
Well, let's move on to the hands then to finish this, because he's got to have arms, this player of ours. So it's got to be surely Manuel Neuer.
The hands of Neuer. And that's it, really, isn't it? Like Neuer Valdez was good, but Neuer is just he's a freak of footballing nature. What a weird man he is. In a great way, he's kind of reinvented goalkeeping, hasn't he, in the modern era. He's weirdly, he could be his feet as well, couldn't it, with Neuer? He could be the feet of Neuer, given how good he's on the ball. But yeah, as a keeper, safe pair of hands.
He's redefined the sweeper keeper. I think it's something that football didn't see for 30, 40 years, and now every Sunday League kid You know, you see on Sunday League games, you see people, goalkeepers standing on the halfway line because they've seen Neuer do it on the telly.
Probably not as good, let's be honest. They all try it though, it's quite adorable. But yeah, Neuer is there. And what the legs, I guess, is next? You need to have legs.
Well, yeah, who's your runner then? Well, no, it's just someone who's just kind of got that.
I just want to find any way to shoehorn Busquets in, and Busquets has legs, so that'll do for me. But then also about the hips, because his agility, and you see Busquets kind of twisting and turning when he's in defence, reading the game, kind of pirouetting out of defence and starting attacks from deep. And he's just once again, he's an incredible player, great movement. I've seen these passes of clips where Busquets is playing like through balls, but he's disguising the pass with his body shape, and the fact that he's looking one way and his hips are swivel the other, and you can see defenders already started to make them move in as the pass is made, and he's done them with his eyes and his body shape, and they've gone the other way. He's just an incredibly intelligent player. He could have been the brain, but
I agree with you that Busquets has got to be in there. I think he's one of the players that sort of defined Pep Guardiola at Barcelona. Do you think in 3 years people will talk about Ilkay Gundogan in the same way that we talk about Busquets?
Yeah, I think he's an absolutely phenomenal player, Gundogan. I think people don't realise how good this man actually is potentially. He can do everything. He can beat 2 or 3 people. He can pass incredibly well. He can dribble. He scores. He's just a hugely dynamic as well. I think Gundogan's a fantastic player, and I think he's going to surprise a lot of people because people don't put him alongside the Alonsos because he's not as big a name because he hasn't been at a Barca or a Bayern. But these clubs wanted him for years. You know, Barca were looking at him for years. Bayern would have had him. Gundogan's class, and I think he'll be one of the best midfielders in the world football in a couple of years.
Super. Well, that's a heck of a monster we've created there.
So what we got then?
We've got
the vision of Iniesta, the brain of Xavi, the voice of Lahm, the heart of Puyol, the lungs of Alaba, the hands of Neuer, the legs of Busquets, the left foot of Messi and the right of Alonso. That is one ugly person.
Well done for remembering all that as well after that 15-minute chat.
I did my research.
All right, well, that's our dream Frankenstein sponsored of a Pep Guardiola player. If you think there's players that we've missed out, who do you think from the current Manchester City squad?
Yeah, make yours in the comments.
Make yours in the comments, but out of the current City squad, who is going to be the dream Pep player? Who are the players you can't wait for him to get his hands on? Let us know in the comments if you've enjoyed this video, just a little bit of fun. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to BlueMoonRisingTV if you haven't here before. See you again, Blues.